Welcome to another episode of So It's Not Just Me, the podcast where we talk about things that happen in our everyday lives that affect our mental health and our well-being. Today, I am joined by my sister Beth, and we're going to be talking about moving away. So everyone knows I moved from England to Florida, but what you may not know is one of my other sisters moved to Australia. So let's talk about it. So, Beth,
Hey,
what made you move to Australia?
I nearly swore already then. Crap weather, basically. um, yeah, so we were one day in January. There's always a show on called Death in Paradise, which is an amazing show, but it's set in the Caribbean. And I looked out of the window at the miserable rain, and I looked at the TV with the beautiful beach, and I said, "I've had enough of this. Let's move." So, like, right, Ryan, have a look, see if you can find a job in Caribbean. And he had a look, and there were no jobs in the Caribbean. So, okay, fine, there's a job in Australia. And he had a look, he went, yep, there's jobs in Australia. So we moved.
Okay.
We watched the show on Thursday, and I had a look, and there was an exhibition on Sunday about how to do it. So we went to that and got the ball rolling. It took about 2 years to get the visas and everything sorted, but yeah, that's why. They always put it
And
on in January when there's nothing, when it's miserable outside and you're watching these beautiful people on a beautiful beach. I went, I want to be there. So let's go.
yep. And
So
how
we
many
did.
times have you been to the beach since you moved?
A lot. Yeah,
Oh,
we do go a lot. Like Brisbane doesn't actually have much of a beach. But we're only sort of half an hour from good beaches. Like
okay.
we got an hour down to the
Yeah,
Gold
that's
Coast, an hour up to the Sunshine Coast, but there's a few little beaches in between. So yeah, we go a lot.
that was one of the draws to me when Kyle said that he lived in Clearwater. I was like, yes, beach, best
Love
beaches in the world are
Clearwater.
in Clearwater. I
Clearwater's
have been to
beautiful.
Clearwater Beach since I moved here 5 times.
Oh
Exactly
really? How long
five
you been there
times.
now? 3 years?
Um, 3.5 years, I think.
Yeah.
3 years.
No, we go quite a
Yeah,
lot.
this is gonna be my
We're going this
fourth
afternoon.
Christmas.
So yeah, just me and
I
Frankie.
would do anything just to go every weekend. I'd be at the beach if I could, but it's too hot. When that
Typical
you've been to
English
Australia
complaining about the weather
before
already.
you decided to move.
I had.
Had Ryan been to Australia before
No,
as well?
no,
No. Was it hard to convince him?
no. Ryan does whatever I say. Like it literally went, let's move to Australia, and he went, yeah, okay. That was the extent of the conversation, and then we did.
That's that's so easy. That's the best.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, people were like, oh, what if you don't like it? And it's like, well, then we move back. Like, it
Yep.
doesn't have to be permanent. It never, like, even now we've been here 5 years, it still doesn't have to be permanent. In 40 years' time, we can go, I've changed my mind, I want to move back to England. We move back. It's
Nothing's keeping
nothing
you
is
there as
forever.
such.
Nothing has to be forever if you don't want it to be. We just,
Yeah.
if we came here and we didn't like it, we just had a very expensive holiday. So,
A
we
holiday
were
that
like,
many
we'll
people get to do.
stay long enough to make sure we've got as money's worth. But then after that, if we're not happy, at least we know. I don't want
Yeah.
to be 90 years old, sat at home, looking at the crappy weather in January, thinking, I wish I was on a beach in Australia. I'd rather be
Yeah.
there thinking, I tried that, weren't for me.
Yeah. No, that's a really good attitude. I like that. I like that a lot. You said that the process took about 2 years. How difficult was it?
So long. It wasn't particularly difficult. It was just a lot of messing about. So,
Yeah.
like, there's different ways to do it. And there were visas that we could get where we'd come quicker. Like, everyone, I think, kind of knows about the sponsorship visa, where you get a company to sponsor you. And you can be here like that. But you have to stay with that company for 2 years, I think. Don't quote me on that. To then get, like, permanent residency. If you lose your job, you've got 30 days to get another sponsorship. Otherwise, you're kicked out. That's it. Your visa's cancelled.
Right.
And it costs a company around 10 grand to sponsor you. So it's not an easy thing to get. They have to know that you're willing to stay. So basically, if you're doing it that way, you're stuck in that job, whether you like it or
Right.
not. Whereas we decided to do it the longer way, but then once we came, we already had permanent residency. we can't be kicked unless we decide to be criminals. They can't kick us out for any other reason. You know,
Right.
they can't just decide one day. So yeah, it took a lot long, and it was a lot of kind of waiting around. So once we'd got eventually all the information in, got everything done, um, you then literally just wait and see. Like you're in a pile. You're in a pile this high of all the different people who want to move, and every month they pick so many out. They don't go in order; they just pick so many, and then so yeah, you kind of every month you're like, oh, is it gonna be us? No, not this month. And then you have to wait another month. Is it us? No, wait
Okay.
another month. So it's a lot of just waiting. There was like to get enough points, Ryan had to do the English test, which sounds easy, but apparently it's not. He had to like write essays and stuff. But if he failed the first one, but then by the time, so like he did it, 2 weeks later he found out he failed it. So then we have to wait till there's another one, which is a month later.
Right.
So yeah, it was a lot of waiting, a lot of messing about like that. So yeah, it took a long time, but it wasn't like difficult, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
we weren't
tedious.
like, yeah, tedious. Get some information, and then they go, okay, now I'm gonna get this other information. You go, can you not just tell us at the start everything, and we could have gone and done all this? Well,
Yeah. Give us
it
a
is what it is.
checklist and we'll go through and do everything.
Yeah, but no, they just tell us one bit at a time, and so
Yeah.
that's why it
That I
took so
think
long.
that's the only thing where we were quite lucky. We had a checklist
Yeah,
of we need this document, this document, this document, and this document.
but also
I was
you were in a
already in the
different
country.
situation. So obviously, me and Ryan came over together. Kyle was
Yes.
already there, so you went over and got your residency, green card, whatever it is, by marriage.
I came over on an Esther and I was never planning on
Yes.
staying. I was only here for a few weeks.
Mm.
And then I didn't
Esther's just
really
like a
have any.
tourist visa,
Yeah, so an Esther's just a tourist visa that anyone can get, unless some people have to go to like the embassy and get a longer one. If they've had like criminal background or anything like that. I luckily don't. So I just came over in an
but in
Esther.
general, if you're just going on holiday, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a normal visa. It's like a visa waiver program that the UK and the US have. I
Right.
think that's been for as long as we can, as long as I can remember. I think that's what we've done coming over
Yeah.
here. And I didn't have any commitments really back home. Um, I'd moved back to mum and dad's because of COVID, and the job I was only in it for 6 months, so it wasn't as if I loved it enough to be committed to it. I loved the job,
Mm.
but I wasn't committed
Yeah.
to it. So
Mm.
when Kyle suggested staying a little bit longer, I said, "Well, I can stay for 3 months." So yeah, I'll stay a bit longer. And then we got COVID, and then we got married, and the rest is history, kind of thing. Which it was never ever the plan. So um, we had to work out, what do we do? Do I have to go back to the UK? Can I stay? And
Mhm.
luckily, I could stay. There is a way. As long as it's not planned, there is a way that you can do things like that. And our
Okay.
situation wasn't planned, so it was okay. So this is one of my questions I have for you, and I don't know if I've ever asked you this before. When I came
Okay.
here, I was here on holiday. So
Mm.
I was like having a fun time and exploring and seeing everything. When
Yeah.
you first arrived in Australia, did you do the touristy thing or did you have to get straight to work?
I didn't go straight to work, and it was actually worse because Ryan did. I think he maybe had like 2 weeks, and then he started work, which then meant I obviously wasn't working and didn't know anybody. It took me maybe 6 weeks ish till I found a job, and honestly, it was really long and boring. Which I don't know. When I came here, when I was backpacking, I came by myself, and I had a great time. And yeah, well, I don't know, it was different because like I don't know, just like I was with Ryan, but he's at work, so I'm just like, oh, what do I do all day? And I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really over. Once I started meeting a few people, because we brought the dog over, obviously, you know that. So then I started going down to the dog park and met people through that. And yeah, once you kind of met a few people, it was okay. But yeah, when I was just by myself, it's long because you obviously weren't allowed to work, were you?
No,
God, I
I
don't know how
wasn't
you
allowed
did
to
this. Yeah,
work.
that was 6 weeks.
I
I got
think I was on
bored.
my, oh God, yeah, I think I was on my own. So I was so lucky I had Kyle's mum. because she came and took me out a couple of times a week when Kyle started working. He had a couple of weeks, just over a week or so with me, and then he started working.
Yeah.
Um, but the apartment we lived in at the time was spotless every day, and I completed Netflix. There was nothing left for me to watch. So I
Yeah.
think it was about 18 months from start to finish of me applying for a visa and, well, sorry, applying for my green card and getting a job.
Mm.
I wasn't
That
allowed to
it
drive.
drives
I
me
wasn't
mad.
allowed to do anything. You can't do anything until you got your green card. So
It,
you're kind of
it doesn't make
stuck.
sense. It's like they know you're there. You're allowed to be there. Why not let you contribute rather
Yeah.
than like I don't know. It's so frustrating, and it'll
I
be
I did
frustrating
apply to
to other
work
people as
early.
well. Seeing you, that it's the she's just turned up, not contributing to the country, doing nothing, sitting on a I don't know. It's just a very strange rule that you can
Yes.
be there for that
Because
long.
I did apply to start work early. You can apply for a working visa, which means you get
Mm,
like a social security number and stuff like the national insurance number back home. Um,
yeah.
and my working visa came through 2 days before my green card, so it made no
Ah,
difference whatsoever anyway.
no.
So and then I think it took me a little while to find a job.
Mm.
But at that
Oh
point we
yeah.
weren't in a rush. We'd learned to
Yeah.
learn to adapt on one wage, so it
Mm,
wasn't too bad.
yeah.
When you did move, what was the hardest part for you?
I don't know. I think it wasn't particularly hard because like I say, a lot of people think of it as a lifelong commitment, and it doesn't have to be. I think because I think of it like that, I didn't find it particularly difficult. It was a lot of the waiting around for the visa was frustrating. So I worked in a salon beforehand. So I'd have a client that had come in every 3 weeks, and every 3 weeks she'd come in and go, "So what's happening? Have you got your visa?" I'm like, "No, not yet." And then the next client would come in, "So have you got your visa?" "No, not yet." So that was annoying. But the actual move
Yeah,
itself, I don't know. I don't think we found it particularly difficult. Like, we didn't bring a lot of stuff, so that were fine. If you were moving now, it'd be difficult because same as everywhere in the world, there's a housing crisis. It's very difficult to find anywhere. Like Airbnb, everything's just crazy. Whereas then we got an Airbnb for a month. Within that month, we managed to find somewhere to live. And yeah, like I say, a couple of weeks, Ryan were already working. A couple of weeks later, I found a job, and I don't know, it all just kind of worked out. It's
fell
difficult
into
not
place.
knowing people. That's I think
Yes.
probably the hardest bit of being completely by yourself, and then the
Yeah.
time difference because you can't just ring your friends for a chat because
Yeah.
we've been trying to
Oh,
do
that's
this
what
for
I
about
found
three
really
months.
hard.
We've not been able to find a time that works for us, but yeah.
Yeah. And people laugh when I say I talk to you more than I talk to anyone else because our
Mm.
time zone is so different, but it works
Yeah,
perfect. It's
yeah,
so
that's it.
good.
So
And
it's easier to talk to you than it is to talk to England.
yes,
Yeah,
and everyone finds that really bizarre, but it's like, well, when I'm up at night, she's up in the morning, so
yeah.
it
Also, because
works
I don't
perfect.
work 2 days a week, so it
Yeah,
works out like that. Whereas,
yeah,
yeah, with England, by the time it's reasonable, like once I've got home from work and can ring them, they're then getting up and going to work. So
yeah,
it doesn't work right. But,
yeah. It's the same here. By the time I get home from work, it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night,
yeah,
so everyone's
yeah. Because
in bed already.
whenever we all try and talk, I know you have to get up at like 6 in the morning, and we'll stay up till 10 o'clock at night.
Yes,
It's the only way
and
to get all three of us to be able
there's
to
more
work.
times that Kyle will say, "No, do it without me. Just do it without me. I'm tired," because he's not a
Yeah,
morning person. So it's like, no, no, thank you.
yeah, not good.
When you chose, well, decided to move,
Mm.
you know I'm going to ask this question. Who was you most nervous to tell?
I think because we kind of just decided it out of nowhere. We weren't really probably my boss, which is silly because because I got on. We were like I said, we worked in a salon. There were only like 5, 6 of us. Five, I don't know, very small. Um, and I decided I wasn't going to tell her. But then on a Monday, there was only me and her at work, and we were just chatting. She's like, "Oh, what did you do at the weekend?" And I just went, "Oh, I went to an exhibition. We're going to move to Australia next year." She's like, "Oh, okay, not what I expected." Um, but yeah, I can't keep anything to myself. So when we told mum and dad, it also came kind of the same. So we'd been to that thing on Sunday morning, and then we all went for dinner Sunday night. And she was like, "Oh, I saw you going out earlier. Where were you going?" And I'm like, "We went to this. We're going to move to Australia." She was like, "Oh, okay." And yeah, I think because it kind of came out of nowhere, she was very surprised.
Do you think she
Probably, I
believed
don't
you?
know. Yeah, I think so. Because we'd been to it. It wasn't just, "Oh, we're
Yeah.
thinking about this." It was, "We've been to this. This is what we're doing." Um, yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Do
Like I said, I wasn't nervous to tell them because it just, I don't know, everything just happened quite at the beginning anyway, quite quickly. So,
I think that's the difference between me and you. I get nervous about talking to people about things. I like
mm,
like this, I'm fine. This is okay. I can deal with this, no big deal.
yeah.
But when I told mum and dad, "Hey, I'm staying," like I'm almost 40 years old, but I was like, how do I tell mum and dad I'm not coming back? That was
Yeah.
really, and I think telling Cherry was hard for me.
Mm.
That
Yeah,
was,
especially because I'd already gone.
yeah, that was really
Mm,
hard for me.
yeah.
Um, I get all the time, "What do you miss from home?" And people always expect me to say family because I do. I get homesick every single day, and I do miss everyone every single
Yeah.
day. But the joys of FaceTime and Zoom calls
Makes
and
that a
things
lot
make it so
easier.
much easier. So when I get asked what do you miss, I say sheep, and I know that sounds silly, but I don't see sheep in America. We don't get sheep.
That's weird.
Yeah, and like I really miss roast lamb
Love
and
lamb, it's my favourite.
lambs. I know this is going to
So
sound
not
so
like going to the
ridiculous.
countryside and seeing sheep. You just want to
No,
eat
I
them.
do miss I do miss like driving through and just seeing like a field of sheep and it's like, oh, sheep. But
Sheep.
I really miss lamb. And it's in the exotic animal
Honestly, so
section
over
and
here, there's a Brits in Brisbane Facebook group, and every day it's just food.
yeah,
Where's the best Chinese? Where's the best fish and chips? Where's the best Sunday dinner? Every
yeah.
day we get asked those questions. It's quite
Yep.
funny. And then every now and then Aldi has British Week, and people just go mental buying prawn cocktail crisps and whatever else they can get.
I don't know if Kyle's
To be
ever
fair,
had
prawn
prawn
cocktail.
cocktail crisps. I'll have to find some and get him some.
Yeah, they're good. Do you know
We
what I can't find
found
over
a
here? Decent sausage roll.
oh yeah, we
That's for
okay. I have found a good sausage roll. So
okay.
there's there's a restaurant in Orlando, and I'm gonna big up this restaurant forever and a day because it's absolutely wonderful. It's called The Best of British. It's a pub kind of setup.
Hmm.
Um, I messaged them to say, "Hey, we're coming over to Orlando. Are you playing the Doncaster Rovers game? Because they play football live." And it's like, "Well, we wasn't going to, but yeah, we are." Like, right, make sure it's on. I'm
It's like
coming down.
they haven't particularly got that many Doncaster Rovers fans hanging
No,
around
they
in Orlando.
haven't.
It's like, maybe.
But I walked in and I'm there in my Doncaster Rovers shirt as
Yeah,
we do. Um,
yeah.
and the guy was brilliant. He came over, he sat and talked. He was an Oldham fan, but
Okay.
he knew a lot of Doncaster history, which a lot of
Mm.
people always do.
Well,
Um,
Oldham's also it's not your Man United's, is it? So if you're an Oldham fan,
no,
you know more lower league stuff.
yeah. And he sat and spoke to me. I was nervous wreck, and like the game went to penalties, and he came and reassured me throughout, even though we lost. And we had the best. We had Scotch eggs and we had sausage rolls, and
Nice.
they were the best. So anyone who's ever going to Orlando, it's on International Drive, I think. You need to find it. It's called the Best of British. It's absolutely wonderful.
British.
Um, and we will go every single time now. Now that we've
Mm,
found somewhere we like, that's British.
yeah. See, the
But
football's something I miss. So we have
yes,
obviously football here, but it's and people they annoy me. Is people refuse to go to it because it's not the standard of the Premier League. But
yeah,
unless people go, they're not going to get any money, so they'll never get to that standard. So that's my
yes,
argument. I'm like, this is the level of football we've got. You watch that or you watch nothing. So we go to it, and it's not the level of football that I particularly miss, it's the atmosphere. So they're
yes,
playing like a 60,000 seater stadium and they've got 7,000 fans. and it's just not great. But
It's like watching
well,
conference teams again.
yeah, like I say, it's not even that. It's not the standard of the football. It's the atmosphere that I miss. So
Right.
there's the A League, which is like your main thing, and they're all your big teams. Which and you can't go to away games. You got to fly to an away game. So we
Oh,
went to one because we decided we'd go to one every year, and then we've been to one since we've been here. But yeah, as nearest one's Newcastle. Oh no, we got nearest one's Newcastle. So it's I don't know, some kind of fly away. It's not close. It's
that's
not.
kind of like what
You
we're
can't go to
doing
it.
with the baseball right now. Like I didn't
Yes.
even know I had nothing to do with baseball before I met Kyle, and now obviously it's America's favorite sport. And we're doing obviously but we're doing every ballpark, so that I can see
Mhm.
more places and we can do something while we're in these places. We go into
Yeah,
every single ballpark, so
I like that.
we have a we're gonna have five done this year, which it costs us like
That's
a thousand
impressive.
dollars a
That's
time to
good.
go at least to go to whatever. So it's a lot of money to go to these places, but we're seeing
Yeah,
some
but it's a
beautiful
weekend
places.
away. It's
So
not just going to the match. It's a whole. It's a weekend away, and that just
yeah,
helps you choose where to go and to go to different places.
yes,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I miss our atmosphere at football and our
Mm.
sports and things. I always enjoyed. Well, we used to go to the
See,
football together, didn't
other
we?
other
So
sports are the same here. We just haven't managed to get to. Ryan's been to a couple of AFL games, but AFL and more so NRL, which is rugby. They call them all footy, which is annoying because I never know what they're talking about. um, but yeah, so they're massive. Like,
right,
I assume you haven't watched Bluey, but lots of people listening to this will have. Anyone who has got children will have. There's an episode about called The Decider, and that's about a massive game that they have here between Queensland and New South Wales, and it's literally like it's just goes mental. Like everyone comes into work wearing the stuff, and like in the Bluey show, the mum's from New South Wales and she's in this house, and the rest of them are in this house, and they don't. And that's what it's like. It's you stay separate and you watch them, and you all come back together at the end because you're friends. But yeah, it's other sports is huge in Australia, just not the sport I
right.
want to watch.
Yeah,
Oh
I
well,
think
it
that's the
is what
same.
it is.
If it's not American football or baseball,
Yeah,
hockey's
I
big
have
over
to
here.
adapt. I have
I've
to
never
start
watched
going.
hockey.
I can't do rugby. That's not for me. But I'm gonna start going to some AFL games, which is Aussie
You should,
rules.
yeah, yeah. Should try it. See what you think.
I'm going to one ages ago, and we've watched a couple on TV, and I like it. I definitely can get into it. It's
Yeah,
just having time to do these things now. We got kids. 'Cause it's too long a match to take them. They'd get bored. We
yeah,
can take them to
yeah.
football. So we take them sometimes to lower league football because there's usually some grass, and we'll take them a ball and they'll play. They'll play football themselves while me and Ryan watch. Whereas in your big stadiums, you can't do that. They have to sit and
They
watch.
have to sit and watch with you.
Yeah, which is why we like going to lower league stuff.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
yeah.
When when I moved here, and it's something I'm still struggling with now, is support systems.
Mm,
So I I have Kyle's family, and other than Kyle's family, I haven't really got anyone here.
yeah.
Which I'm not complaining because obviously Kyle's family are wonderful. But how did you build a support system, or do you have a support system there?
Yeah, so I haven't got like I've never been one for lots of friends. I don't feel the need for lots of friends. I want a few good friends, and I feel like that's what I've got. Um so I'd not been here very long. It was within the first, I don't know, month or two. And I'm on this Facebook group, and someone put a post on there basically saying, I've just moved here, I've got no friends. Anyone want to come out for a drink? So I think 14 of us all turned up, all not knowing
Oh,
anybody,
that's
all
good.
went. Yeah. So then, like, everyone kind of broke off into the little groups, and I was friends with a group of them. And as happens over time, kind of drifted. But then I stayed really good friends with one of them, and then met another one through her. So that I've got like that little group, and then I've met a couple of other people through the kids. So yeah, I haven't again, like I say, I haven't got loads of friends, but I've got a few good friends, which
So if you needed
is
someone,
really
there's
good.
somebody there.
But like you say, it's excuse me, it's difficult, and this sounds like really like I only want them here for this, but it's difficult not having family here when you've got kids. Like when you want to go out, like not having like having to pay a babysitter every time you go out is very annoying. But if you want to, and sometimes it's like you want to do something that's going to take an hour, and you go, well, a babysitter's not going to come around for an hour,
No.
so I now can't do that thing, or I have to pay a babysitter for 3 hours, and then it's not
Yeah.
worth it. Whereas I could go, oh, mum, just have kids for an hour while I nip and do this. And so for
Yeah.
practical reasons, it's really irritating. Again,
Yeah.
we've got a couple of babysitters that we use. We've got one favorite babysitter who she's amazing. So she's very much she worked at the daycare looking after Frankie when she was first born. Frankie's now 4, and she then started coming here and babysitting. So she's kind of become part of family. To be honest,
Yeah.
so kids absolutely love her. So she's great.
That's good.
And then one of my friends who's got kids is in the same situation. Her family are not here. So every other month, as kids will stay at each other's house.
Oh,
So
that's good.
1 month her kid will stay here, and then her and partner can have a night completely to themselves, and then the next month ours will stay with her. We definitely get the better end of the deal with that.
Has she just got one?
She's got 2, but one's older, and he'll stay with his dad.
Okay.
So then the younger one, who's the same age as Frankie, she'll come here, and she's great. Like she'll put herself to bed at 7 o'clock, and then you'll not hear from her again. And whereas mine, every time we pick them up the next day, they're like, "Yeah, we ended up sleeping on settee with Rory because he was like, oh, bless him." Yeah, he's a bit of a pain, but
But it's so
they've agreed to
cute.
it now. No take backs. Oh, bless him.
Let me think. I think this is something we spoke about previously, but we stopped ourselves so that we had something to talk about. I struggle. Well, so since I've been here, obviously for the first 18 months until I got my green card, I couldn't leave the country anyway. When
Yes.
we did come home at Christmas and everyone being there, first I was anxious about coming home. I don't know why, but I was so anxious coming home. And then when I came home, I felt like I wasn't meant to be there. Like I didn't feel like it was home anymore. And then when I
Hmm.
came back, I didn't feel like he was home anymore. And it was so
Yeah.
strange. Like when we flew into Manchester. When we got to Manchester and you give them your passport and they're like, oh, welcome home. I got really emotional. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm home. And then when I got back here, we flew to New York first. And when we got to New York, I had to give them my green card. And they was like, oh, welcome home. I'm like, where do I belong? Like, I
Hmm.
don't feel at home in either place. And it's not always,
Yeah.
like, just every
Yeah.
now and again, it's like, where do I belong? Like, have you
I think
ever,
that's something I don't think will ever kind of go away.
yeah,
Like, again, a different Facebook group. There's one called Ping Pong Poms, which is really hard to say, because people constantly ping pong from one to the other. They come here, they miss home, so they move back, and they go, actually, no, it were better off there, so they move back here, and they'll just do that for the whole life because they just can't settle.
yeah,
Um, Fortunately, we've not done that yet, but there have definitely been times when we've thought that we're moving back, and we've gone, okay, so
yeah.
on this date or when this happens, we'll wait till whatever it may be, and then we're moving back, and we'll make all the plans, and then we see a house and go, oh, I like that house. Should we buy that? But if we buy that, then we're not moving back home. Yeah, let's go and buy the house. Again, we never bought the house, but it's not so much that we don't feel at home here because we definitely do. We definitely do, but I think it's always in the back of his minds that we may at some point go back. Just a second.
So for anyone who's realised I've just cut off a major bit of our conversation, I'm not sure if I will have already left this part in or not, but Beth has a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. Is Rory one? Oh, yeah, almost 2.
Yeah.
Um, and Frankie likes to come and say hi every now and again. So we had a bit of a longer conversation just now. So if it does seem a little bit disjointed, it's because we're chatting with a 4-year-old, priorities.
We forgot what we were talking about before she came, so we're just going to move
Yeah,
on.
so we're going to move on. um, I think I briefly touched on this earlier. I feel homesick almost every single day.
Hmm.
And every single day, because of where I work and the industry I work in, a lot of people ask me because they hear my accent and they say, "Hey, do you get homesick? Do you miss home?" Which makes me miss it even more. Um,
Yeah.
how do you deal with homesickness? Do you get homesick?
I do, not so much. I think I don't get asked about it so much because there's a lot of foreign people here. There's a lot of English, Irish, like everybody. There's so it it's not much of a novelty like it is in Australia,
Right.
in America. Sorry, you're a novelty to people. People over here don't really
Yeah.
care. They're just like, oh, she's English, whatever. So I don't really get asked about it too much. Um, I tend to get homesick when I see photos from home,
Yes.
photos of mum and dad out with Cherry and the kids, and yeah, that's what
Yeah.
gets me. I think, oh,
Yeah.
should
Or
I be moving back for kids' sakes to be able to be with the grandparents, and is it fair that they're missing out on that?
yeah.
But then I talk to people who moved here as children or who were born here to foreign parents, and they say we don't care because we don't know any different.
Right.
They haven't like got to 10 and then been taken away, which I don't know. Some people are in that situation, but they've never grown up seeing Nana and Granddad every day like
Yeah.
Claire has, Cherry's daughter. So they don't miss it. They don't know any different. They don't care in a
Yeah.
nicest
Not in a
possible way.
nasty way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not they don't care, but they're
it's not
not.
in a
Yeah,
nasty way.
they don't know what they're missing out on. I don't know if that's better or worse. I don't know, but yeah, it makes me feel a bit better that yeah, these people have
I know.
done that and they're happy enough with it. So
Yeah.
I wish obviously
I know
they could
that when I
support them,
call,
but
yeah, I know when I call Frankie, when we actually met Frankie for the first time, I think Rory more than Frankie, he was very like, why aren't these people on a screen?
yeah, he
Um,
was still very young when you first met him.
yeah, but I think that I have a very good relationship with Frankie.
Yeah, you talked
Um,
to her a lot, so she's
yeah, because of this. And I think if we did see each other, we wouldn't see each other as much, I don't think, if we lived close. While ever I haven't got children anyway.
maybe.
I
Yeah.
don't think, not in a nasty way, just I think that we talk to each other a lot because we're both available at these free
Yeah,
10 minutes. Whereas if we're in the same country, we might not as much. Does that make sense?
yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, do you know what? I was going to ask a question and I can't remember what the question was, but I remember thinking to myself, if I ask this question, I'm going to cry.
Okay.
And I don't know if I blocked it from my mind because I was
Probably
going to
because if
cry.
you start, I'll start. So
I know, and
that's not going
I'm
to be fun for
trying.
anybody to listen to. Well,
No,
maybe
it's
it will.
not.
I don't know. I don't know what your listeners are like.
um, I don't know. And like, I know that I'm an emotional wreck anyway.
Mm.
I always am right now, and I've said this
Yeah.
quite a lot recently.
Oh,
Um,
I always cry. Cry. Yeah, it is what it is.
so I'm going to talk about this, and it's not something that I was actually going to talk about on here. But I'm going to talk about it anyway.
Okay.
So I don't know if you
Here we
saw,
go.
or maybe I spoke to you about this already. I know I haven't on a podcast. I was at work last week, and
Mm.
somebody joked, and I'm going to say it was a joke because I'm hoping that it was, that they were going to get me deported.
Mm.
And that was so scary to me because I don't know what the rules are like in Australia. But even being a permanent resident on a green card, I can get deported and then
Mm.
I can be banned from coming back. So, is there anything that you've thought while you've been over there? Oh no, I need to be careful so that they don't kick me out. Can they kick you out?
No, like I say, I'm pretty sure, unless I actually commit a crime, that I can't get deported. And I'm not planning on committing any crimes, so that's
Oh, good.
fine. I I can now. Once you've been here 4 years, you can apply for citizenship.
Okay.
me and Ryan are useless and just don't get round to things, and I'm really annoyed at the pair of us because, again, it's the same thing. Once we've applied for it, you have to wait for ages to then do the test, and then you have to wait for ages to do the ceremony to actually get it. Once you're a citizen, you're a citizen. That's that.
Yeah.
So we don't need to worry about that. But yeah, we really need to get on with doing that.
The kids are citizens, aren't they?
The kids are, 'cause they were both born here.
Are they
Two
dual?
born here, and we were permanent residents. So if
Right.
we came on holiday and they happened to be born here, then no, they're not. Because I think there's some rule of trying to stop people doing that, coming in and going, oh
Right.
well, my kids are permanent residents now, so my kids are citizens now, so now I have to stay. They're trying to kick people. I don't know, whatever. That's a whole different thing. But yeah, they're citizens because we were permanent residents. We will be citizens when we pull his finger out and do the test.
I think I am going to be a citizen. I will be dual.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we'll
but
be too.
how? So my green card actually expires in February, so next
Right.
year.
Yeah.
So when you first come, because of the kind of green card I have, mine's marriage based. So
Yeah.
to make sure it's not a sham wedding, they'll only give you a green card for 2 years.
Yeah.
I think normal ones are either 5 years or 10 years. So after 2 years, you can apply for a new one, which would be the 10-year one.
Right.
Once you've been married to an American for 3 years, you can apply for citizenship.
Okay.
But that overlaps with the 2 years to 10 years green card.
Yeah.
So I still have to apply for a 10-year green card and
Mm.
either take the loss in the money section and apply for my citizenship the next year or whenever I'm ready, or wait 10 years
Yeah,
and
you may as well
apply.
just do it.
I
You're
think
not
that's what we're
planning
going
on
to do.
moving
I think
back, so
it's
just do it.
no, I don't think we'll ever move back if I'm honest.
Mm.
Not that I don't want to, but I I really like my life in
Yeah.
America. And I think as much as I'm sad every day that I'm not at home, I think I'm a happier person here.
Yeah. I get that.
And I think that
Do you know what I think a
I
lot
think a
of it
lot of
is?
things.
I don't think it's where you are. I think it's being away. It's just being somewhere different and being able to kind of start fresh and be like, I don't know,
Yes.
when you've known the same people, not even particularly your friends, but, everyone you went to school with, everyone lived in that village forever. Granddad, whoever we meet, granddad will tell us, oh yeah, so and so is his granddad. Everyone knows everyone. And
Yes.
then you move so everyone knows you, whether they know you on a personal level or not. And you're always involved, like you always know all the drama, you always know everything that's happening. Whereas I've come here and I'm just like, there's never any drama here. I'm like, there probably is. I just don't hear about it because I don't
Yes.
know Sally down the road, and she's not telling me about what he's been up to and what he's been. I don't know because I don't care. So you
Yeah.
just kind of, all that's gone and it's all lifted and everything's just like, nah, whatever. It's
It's
just,
like a lot of the
I think
negativity
that's
that
a
was
lot
in
of
my
it.
life is just gone
Yeah,
because I don't have to involve myself anymore.
yeah. And like I say, it's not friends, it's not people you particularly know. It's just everyone talks about everyone, and then it's sad that you haven't got people to talk to an extent. But then you've also not got people telling you everyone's business that you don't need to be involved in. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. There is one of my friends who I do love talking to her because she's always got stories. Like, and I love her stories. There's
I
always
know
something
which
happening.
friend you mean. You don't even have to say it. I know which
You,
friend
you,
you
you know
mean.
what I mean. I love it. She,
Yeah.
every time I ring her, I'm like, okay, so what's happening? Tell me all the gossip. But then I'm away
Yes.
from it. She can tell me everything, and then I'm away, and I'm not involved,
Yeah.
and it's
And you don't have to think
nice.
about it anymore. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't, it's gone.
It's
Everything's
yeah,
gone and done with. So that's, yeah,
that's
that's
definitely
something that I like a lot. And a lot of people asked me, why did you choose to stay in America rather than Kyle come to England?
mm,
And I somewhat joke with my answer, but it is somewhat true at the same time. What's the biggest pull for my family to come and visit or Kyle's family to come and visit? Now, if we're in England and we're like, hey, it's raining this week, do you want to fly over? No one's going to want to fly over ever to the rain
Hey,
and the
you gotta
cold and the
come to
damp.
Florida and go to Disney. Yes.
Hey, I'm an hour and a half away from Disney World. What are you doing this year for your holidays? So,
Yeah.
as selfish as that sounds for everyone, for me to say everyone has to come to me, more people are likely to come to me.
Because you can go to Florida for a holiday and see
Yes.
you while they're there.
Yes.
Whereas you're not going to Doncaster for a holiday.
No.
If you're going there, you're going to see
If
family.
you
You
are,
know.
you need to be checking, are you okay?
There's some good stuff in Doncaster. Let's not slag it off.
There
They've got
is. There is
there's
some good
some very
stuff.
interesting things in Doncaster, but
Doncaster's
it's
a very good
not a
base
great
to get to
holiday.
places.
Yeah, that's true. They got a good train station, but no, there are some good stuff. Lots of yeah, but yeah, it's not somewhere you would go for a 2 week holiday.
No, no.
You don't even get
Whereas,
2 weeks holiday, do you?
do you want to know how much holiday I get now? I do get 2 weeks now. I do now.
Okay.
My first year of working for the company I worked for, I got no holiday days at all. At all. Um, and then year two, I would get 5 days. However, my company that I work for has been bought out, so I now automatically get 10 days.
Oh, very good.
But that is 10 days PTO. So that covers vacation and sick.
Right. Okay.
10 days.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very lucky. I'm very, not privileged, I guess, but I'm very lucky that because of the circumstances around my fertility care and treatment, my boss is very, very understanding.
That's
And
good.
I've asked for extra time off unpaid,
Hmm.
but can I work hours back or can I do whatever?
They're letting you be quite flexible about it.
Yeah, it's been very, very good with me. Like we have, so we went to Colorado, we went to Pittsburgh, we're going to Philadelphia, we're going to Baltimore, and we're going to Virginia. Oh, and we're going to Orlando again.
Okay.
And I think I added it all up, and it would have been about 20 days vacation. I
Mm.
think there's only 2 days of it that I won't technically be paid for because I'm
That's
building time and working time
that's
back and things.
that's good. Good that
So
they let you
although
do.
I don't get anything near what we got back in England,
Mm.
I'm making it work for for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not too
It's just
bad.
one of those things. It is what it is. Mm.
Is there any like other than obviously my vacation time, is there like any glaring obvious differences that like excuse me, either bug you or you've noticed or anything since you moved to Australia?
Nothing significant. It's silly little things. There was something the other day. It's silly little things that bug me that are just irrelevant. But real things now. Like there's nothing major. Like I can't even remember what it was, but it was something stupid. But like
I
car parks never got anywhere for you to walk. There's never anywhere to walk properly in a car park, so you have to walk where the cars are, and they're all the same. So stupid things like that, like car parks are designed badly. But in general, no, there's nothing worth complaining about.
you drive on the same side of the road, don't you? You're
I've lost you.
I didn't
Oh,
get
there you go.
that.
You're back.
Could you try again?
Oh, hang on. Siri's talking to me. Go away.
I'm really more of a listener.
Well, shut up. I don't know how to get rid of it. Oh, there we go. She's gone.
what did you do?
Nothing. I'm nowhere near it.
Well, it went very loud and now it's gone back to normal.
Well, you cut off. I couldn't hear you. And then she's like,
Oh.
I didn't hear that. What do you? Because no one said anything to you. Go away. Anyway, she's gone now.
Hate technology. I'll tell you one of the things that I get a lot, not as much now because they're
Mm,
used to me, but I used to have to translate words to Kyle's mum and
yeah.
his dad, to be fair. I'd say something and you just know you're getting that pause.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so you're like, oh, actually, this means I can't even remember what it
Oh, is that
was.
is that not a
And
real word? I do that a lot. Not so much now. I'm kind of learning, but every now and then I'll say something and they'll look and I'll go, "Is that not a word?" They're like, "No, that's must
yeah,
be an English thing." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So
and Kyle can
yesterday,
always tell. Go
hmm?
ahead.
The other day, I was at work and I'd been asked to do something, and I was like, I said, well, look, I'll do it, but it's just a lot of fannying around. And I didn't even think anything of it. And I said this like to my boss, and the other woman I was out with both kind of looked at me and started laughing. I'm like what? She's like, oh, fannying around. I'm like, oh yeah, that's not a real thing. And then yesterday I was watching a YouTube video on this woman from Yorkshire, and the subtitles were on, and she said it. So I'm gonna have to send her a photo of that because that's quite funny. Because yeah, you just don't even think, and more so, the more you get to know people. So one of the girls at work who I've worked with for a few years now, every now and then she'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't understand you. And I'm like, oh, that's because I've started talking I'm talking quite fast. Like I forget that that I have to talk slow.
Yes.
So when I meet new people, I'll slow down a little bit. Once I've been, I've known, like I say, I've known her a couple of years, so I'll talk normal, and then she'll just be like, just start again because I don't know what you're saying. But between us, I don't know. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say that Kyle and his family, in fact, always know when I've spoke to people from back home
Mm,
because I go overly. I've never ever been overly Yorkshire. I don't
yeah,
think I have. I don't think I've ever had like a strong Yorkshire
we ain't
accent.
got strong accents now.
No, but when I've been talking to people from back home, or if I've been texting dad, like I don't know
Yeah,
why. If I'm texting dad, Kyle always knows that I'm texting him
yeah,
because it's like you've been texting your dad, haven't you? Well, not haven't you? Haven't you? Um, and I don't know why he knows that I've been talking to dad, but
yeah.
I
Dad
go
talks
overly
different
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire than we do.
Yeah, dad's very Yorkshire compared to us.
Yeah.
But
But in
yeah,
our
that's something.
household, it's quite fun. We all make fun of each other, and we make fun of Cherry's husband from Bolton and his silly accent. So there's
Yeah.
there's me, and then there's Ryan from Ireland, and then the kids. Frankie's she's mostly Yorkshire, but she's getting a bit Aussie, and we all just make fun of each other about it. Like she'll she'll say, "I've got no hands free," and we'll be like, "No what? No hands?" And she'll go, "Oh, hands." And then I could hear her and Ryan in the bathroom the other day. He said something about looking in the mirror, and she's going, "Mirror, it's a mirror." Yeah, the mirror. And then
It's
she'll
so
say
funny.
things.
He's got such an
She was singing
attitude.
Frozen. She's like, "Let it go, let it go." That's how Craig sings it. Oh, it's funny.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll just bullies in our house. It's fun.
As long as you can
All
laugh
in
at
fun.
each other, that's fine.
That's it. It's all in fun. Like she knows it's fine, but it's funny.
How so I know Ryan's lived in other places other than
Yeah,
Ireland, so I think it's probably a bit easier for him to.
yeah. He moved for uni to Liverpool when he was 18, and then from there he kind of never went back to Derry. He went Poland for a bit, different places around England, different places in Ireland, but he never moved back to Derry.
If you're having a bad day, does he understand and is he good with you? Or do you have bad
Uh,
days?
Not really. Not. He's not good. Like we don't really have bad days. Like so, we said when we first moved over. Initially, it was there'll be time there'll be a day that I want to go home, and then the next day I'll be fine, and you'll want to go home. So we are staying here for 2 years, regardless. Like if we're miserable
Right.
for 2 years, I don't care. We're staying for 2 years. Then if either of us is not happy, we move home. We then changed that because it costs so much to get the dog out here. We're like, we're not taking her back, so we have to wait till she's dead. So if we once Kia dies, we then decide whether or not we want to stay, and if one of us doesn't, we go back. So yeah, there are always days where one of us is a bit. I think more so me than him because he's lived away so much. He definitely misses his friends, but he talks to his friends a lot, just like texting and what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. You'll be homesick for a bit, but we just get over it quite quickly.
Kyle's very good at if I'm homesick, he'll just shove a cup of tea in front of me.
Yeah, have a cup of
And,
tea.
a cup of tea solves
You'll be
everything
fine.
because I used to say that to him all the time. And I hate to say it, but he makes better tea than me, which is really disappointing. But I know, but at least I've
Drinking a new
trained him well.
blend cup of tea the other day. And she's like, "Oh, it's
Was it
grape
good?
flavored tea." I'm like, "Take it away. Bring me a proper cup of tea. I don't want it."
Where's my Yorkshire tea?
Yes, we got
I
Yorkshire
paid
tea.
$12 for a box of Yorkshire tea.
Madness. So you can get
Crazy.
Yorkshire tea in the normal tea section, but then there are other things that you get in the. There's like maybe like this wide in the foreign food. There's this wide of British
Yeah.
stuff. So there's a
I get
few.
really annoyed that they have Australian food in the British section.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, and it's like those Tim Tam things. Why don't you
Yeah.
just get penguins? It's just a
Well,
penguin.
that
We don't.
yeah, it's a penguin without the joke.
Yes. Yeah, but that's the
And
best part of a penguin.
oh, yeah. People see things like that. People are very much these are better. No, these are better. Honestly, they taste the same.
Yes.
But and I'll get slated for that. But they taste the same. But penguins are individually wrapped, so I can take one to work. Tim Tams are not.
Tim Tams are over here.
Are they?
I think so.
They're not here. Can you hear that? I've got a
I
visitor.
might have to get some to find out. I could see a flower. Wow, that's a beautiful flower.
Yeah.
Where did I get this flower?
You got it from my friend's birthday.
So one of the things that I was telling Kyle, and I don't know if this is something you do or not, is when we have kids, I want them to have an English lesson, but not like English language, like learn about England and learn about the
Okay.
culture and like from where I'm from. Is that anything you'd like do with yours?
Not really. What do you want them to learn? Oh, interesting.
I want them to
That
learn
might change
all
my mind.
about.
You might say something interesting.
Well, I always am very, very interested in when Dad used to tell us stories about how he grew up and the history behind like York or how Stonehenge was formed or just like British history because you don't
Yeah.
learn that in an American school. Like in
Mm.
English schools, you don't learn American stuff.
Mm.
Like I know nothing about America. That's why we're doing a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
So because I am English, I want my kids to learn about England.
Yeah, I don't know if they need like lessons. You just, I don't know. You just tell them.
Mine are having lessons. Once a week, they're going to sit down and listen.
This
while
is
they-
how to make a proper cup of tea.
That'll be top of the
That's
list.
all you need to know. That's it.
No
Tea and
grapes
biscuits.
involved.
Frankie had a first cup of tea the other day. She loved it.
Did she enjoy it?
It was mostly milk with a little, but yeah, she enjoyed it. She was
Good.
impressed.
Good.
She's like the dipping the biscuits in the tea. So, yeah.
Dunking a
But
biscuit.
yeah, I don't. You will tell them stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't know that much.
Do you not like my idea of English lessons?
Maybe I just don't know enough English history to have lessons. I don't know. I don't know.
You know
how
what I
else
think
need
it
to know.
is? I don't think it. Oh, no, it is because I want them to learn about England and the history behind England. I think it'd be a great way for them to keep a constant contact with Mum and Dad. Because I want
Yeah.
them to give them the lessons so that I have an hour to cook dinner or
well,
whatever. So
that's a different story. That's
I think it'd be
yeah.
a
If I
great
don't
way.
have to do it, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm
all
not
for
saying
that.
I'm not giving them the lessons. Mum
Oh,
and Dad can
yeah.
give them the lessons and they can teach
Yeah,
them
no,
all
I'm all
about
for that.
England.
That's
Because
good.
in my head, that's another way that they can keep connected to home. Because my kids are
Yeah.
going to be like your kids. They're going to, or if I have any kids, they're going to be over here. So they're going to learn to have relationships with Nana and Grandad the way that your kids do. So, yeah, that's my thought anyway. I think we've
Just hear
covered a
shouting.
lot more than what I thought. Is she back?
No, I can just hear her shouting downstairs.
Oh.
Not shouting out anything, just playing. She's fine.
Oh, okay.
Anything else?
I remember when I lived in Doncaster, I always said I'd never ever leave Doncaster because I love Doncaster.
Yeah, I was
really
surprised. I was surprised when you went.
Yeah, and when I moved down to Southampton, I hated every single. I've never admitted it really before. I've probably told you it, you and Cherry, but I hated every minute of living in Southampton. I hated it, absolutely hated it. So moving back to Doncaster then was the best thing I ever did, and
Yeah.
I never ever ever envisioned living anywhere but Doncaster. Um,
Hmm.
I'm very proud to be from Doncaster. I'm very happy that I lived in Doncaster, and I loved it there.
Yeah.
So
Well, see, I didn't move
to
because I disliked where I was.
no, you just wanted a beach and nice weather.
Yeah. So it
More
annoys me
more
when people.
predictable.
It, what annoy. Completely cutting you off, and I don't mean to.
It's okay.
But I've started now, so I'll carry on. It annoys me when people have to talk about how one's better than the other, like
Yes.
on the whatever Facebook groups, and people be like, oh, we're thinking about maybe moving back. Has anyone been back recently? And then you just get, it's a dump, it's blah 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 blah, and then you'll get people on the other side going, yeah, but Australia's bad because blah blah blah, and it's like neither is bad. They're both good in different ways. You don't have to slag off one thing to like the other. You can just go,
Yes.
at the minute, I'm happier here. You don't have to go,
Yes.
that place is a dump. I'm sure parts of it are, and I'm sure parts of Australia are. That's just the world. Like, there's good bits and bad bits.
Yes.
But yeah, it really annoys me when people like slag it off. And I'm like, but I didn't move because I didn't like it. Like, I was always happy there. And
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. That just really annoys me. Like,
There is
I think,
somebody back home, and I'm not going to say who it is, but there's somebody back home that whenever I text, they always say, "You did the best thing getting out of this country,"
mm,
and I usually just don't reply,
yeah,
but I kind of think I love my country, and I also love where I live now.
yeah.
It's no better
You can
here.
love both. It doesn't have to
Yes.
be. Yeah,
Yes.
you don't have to.
And
But people
if
are
I
like that
hadn't
with
married,
everything. I like
yes,
this music, so I have to hate this music, and people are just like that with everything. To like one
yes,
thing, you have to be right, and
yeah,
everyone else has to be wrong, and that's just you don't.
yeah.
No one's
I
wrong.
wouldn't be in America if it wasn't for Kyle. I'd come
Mm,
on holiday constantly because I do love America,
yeah,
but I
you
wouldn't be
100.
living here without Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would have probably lived in Doncaster for the rest of my life. But
Yeah.
you know, things
Mm.
happen.
See, that's the thing is because you're obviously in a different situation to us because Kyle's from there,
hmm
and like so when you if you or when you have kids, you've got some family there. There will still.
We
I
have
know
his
he's
mum.
yeah. I know his dad lives quite far, but they'll still have somebody. They'll still have family,
hmm
which is nice.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I
and
think
although his dad's not there, he's not too far away. He's close enough that you can
no,
visit
I think
very
it's like a
regularly.
4 hour flight,
Yeah,
so it's not
closer
terrible.
closer than England. You can yeah.
Like I know that I've had to have the conversation with mum that I may not come back if certain people pass away.
Mm,
And like if something happens to you or dad or Cherry, then yes, I'll be there straight away as quickly as I can get a flight. But anything outside of that is so costly. Like
we looked before we moved. Like right, if I'm told Mum's gonna die tomorrow, could I get back?
yeah,
And I had a look, and I'm like, yep, this is what it costs. This is how quickly you can get back. That's fine. Not so much for Mum, Dad, and Cherry because you're not going for them. But I don't see the point, and most people disagree with me on this. I don't see the point in going back for a funeral. I don't
right.
see the point, and I'm gonna just use Grandad and he'll agree with me. We'll have no problem with saying this. I'm not gonna go back for Grandad's funeral
No,
because
I won't be.
he's dead. He don't know. He don't care.
Yeah.
If they said Grandad's gonna die next week, I'll try and get back. Do you know what I mean? Once
Yeah.
he's gone, he's gone.
Yes.
If mum died, I'm not going back for mum. I'm going back for dad. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas yeah, once and it sounds heartless, and like I say, most people disagree. Most people, if there's a funeral, they're going back for it. I don't see the point. I think once they're gone, they're gone.
I completely agree with you. And I think that I can pay respects from wherever I am in the world.
Yeah.
But I would
Do you know
be
See, it's practical things that get me. And the longer you've been here, the more you're sure you're staying. But I remember saying to Ryan, I'm like, well, if Ryan died now, like if Ryan died today, what do we do with him? Do we bury him here, or do we fly him back? If we, it needs to be really where his children are, more so than where his parents are. So we would bury him here. But then, what if in 5 years I move back? Then
Or what if Frankie and
we've
Rory
left
don't
him
want to
here
stay
by
there
himself.
forever?
Hmm?
Yeah. What if
Like
Frankie and Rory don't
it's
want to
things
live in
like that you
Australia?
just go. It's unlikely to happen. But what do you do in that situation? You know, if you can cremate the person, then that's fine because you can just take them wherever you want to be, spread them out. But Ryan wants to be buried, so I'm like, okay, well, what do we do with you? Because if he died, there's a good chance I would move back at some point.
Yeah.
But would I? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
I think if anything happened to Kyle, I'd move back.
Yeah.
That's probably the only reason that I
But
move
then
back.
you haven't got that situation. If Kyle dies, you're burying him there.
Yeah.
What if you
If
die?
Kyle dies,
Where are
it's
you going?
England.
You're going back?
Yeah.
Hmm.
He knows that. If I die, I'm
Yeah.
going back. Unless we have like a family plot that all of us are going to, I don't know. But right now, in my head, I'm going home.
Yeah.
See, I always call it home.
Yeah. But then what
It's
does that
always home.
cost?
I don't know. I've never looked into it.
I don't
But
know either.
the deal with me moving to Florida was that we would always, no matter what, have enough money in the bank for me to go home if it was an emergency.
We said this. We're like, right, we're gonna make sure we've got enough money to cover 6 months of bills, so that if it's mom's gonna die in 6 months, you go, all right, I go spend the next 6 months at home. My bills are all covered. That's not happened. We haven't got 6 months of bills in bank.
No.
So especially like I say, the way things have gone, it's just, and obviously, then when COVID happened, people, and this is not just us, people all over the world are dropping dead and whatever all over the place, and no one could get back to anybody.
Yeah.
And it's you don't, obviously nobody expected that to happen, so it's not something you plan for. We were lucky we didn't lose anybody, but if we had, couldn't do
No,
anything
but
about
you
it.
had Frankie. You know, you
I did,
gave birth during COVID,
yeah, and no one could come and see
which
her.
it was horrendous for us back home because I was in England
Well,
still
I
at the time.
actually, some photos popped up on me memories on Facebook the other day. So she was born 9 weeks early, so she spent the first 8 weeks in hospital. She was only allowed one visitor at a time, which meant she was 20 days old. I don't know, like I say, I saw this the other day. 20 days old the first time the three of us were together. So, pretty much
That's
3
crazy.
weeks. So, I'd go in. So Ryan just went back to work because they were like, well, we've got no kid at home. I can't do anything. What's the point? I'll just keep working until she comes home. So I'd go in for a few hours in daytime, and then I'd come home and he'd finish work and go and sit with her for a couple hours. And yeah, we're 3 weeks until we're eventually all together. We're just mad. Weird.
It's bonkers, absolute bonkers.
But yeah, so during that time, Mum was trying to come over, but can't. Tough. Them's the rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she wouldn't have been able to see her if we were in England anyway.
No, she wouldn't. No. But she would have been there for you. That's probably more. She'd have been there to help
all
you
the rules
if you
kind
did
of kept
anything.
changing,
And
didn't they?
yeah, everything changed every 2 minutes.
I didn't need anything. It was great. I had no baby to look after. I was off work. I was free and easy.
Dinner at the table every night, sorted. I think that's the only thing Kyle really misses about me being at work now. Like, his lunch was ready every day, dinner was ready every day. But now it's like, oh, I don't want to cook dinner. You cook dinner. No, you cook dinner. Both been working all day. Nobody wants to do anything. So it's great fun. So I'm going to try and wrap us up a little bit because we've gone a little bit longer than I thought we would. But that's okay.
Yeah, we've got a couple of... So there's a couple of times where Frankie came up, so if it's stop-start, that's what that is.
Yes.
I thought she'd stay downstairs. She did not. So
Well,
yeah,
she
so
stayed
a few
longer
of
than
these
we
bits
thought.
can get cut out.
Yeah,
Bits of her
but it's
bringing me up
fine.
to
That's I'm learning to edit. I'm doing all this myself, so I'm very proud right now of
You're doing a very good
somewhat
job.
learning to edit. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
but there will definitely be parts where we just stop and then start talking about something different. So
Yes.
anyone who's still listening, that's what happened. That's what happens when you have kids that won't leave you alone. That's life, you know.
Yeah, it's
They're fine.
fine. Especially when you
Time
haven't got a
difference
parent
is
close
the only
by
time we could do.
and you haven't got a babysitter that can watch them for an hour.
I'm not paying a babysitter to come for an hour. What are
So,
they charge? A bloody fortune.
yes. Well, no, I don't know what the charge, but I
A
imagine.
lot. Which is fair, but you know, it
Yeah.
adds a lot onto your night out.
Yes, I can imagine. Okay, my final question before I
Okay.
let you tell your final thoughts. It's like the Jerry Springer final thoughts.
Yes. Okay. Let's do it.
For anyone who's thinking about moving away from friends and family and loved ones and sheep, what advice have you got?
Just do it. Just do it. If you don't like it, you move back. And if people go, there were one person who, and she didn't mean anything, but she used to bug me. She'd be like, "Oh, I couldn't do it. I'd miss my family too much," as though I don't care about my family, like as though I'm not
Right.
bothered. And I'm just like, I'm not allowed to swear, um, but yeah, you know, you do it, and if you don't like it, you move back, and you go, well, and when if anyone has a problem with that, you well, at least I tried. You know, what have you
Yeah.
ever done? I went, I
Yeah.
didn't like it, worked for me, or I went and I loved it, and now I'm happier than I've ever been.
Yeah.
Do what you want. Do what you want. You're a long time dead, as Grandad likes to say.
Yes, he says that quite often.
He does. Or Nana's old favourite. Adventure before dementia.
I've never heard that one.
Did you never? Nana used to say that all the time when we were
No,
on
I never
holiday.
heard that. Oh,
Adventure before dementia. So yeah, just do it.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you'd like to add before I wrap up?
No, I think we're good. I think we've covered a lot. I can't. I'm sure as soon as you're gone, I go, oh, we should have talked about this. But you know, how long do people really want to listen to us blabber on?
But that's why we have the option of coming back.
Yes,
Because I have
think of something
another,
else.
like, spoiler alert, I have another idea for you to come on for something. I'm not going to give anything
Ooh,
away right now, but I do have an idea of something I want you to come and talk about with me. But I'm going to leave it at that.
ooh,
Like,
cliffhanger.
leave a little bit of
Love it.
mystery.
Very
So,
good.
for anyone who is still listening, thank you very much for listening to us today. If you do ever have nerves or feel like you're doing something wrong by wanting to move away, or you just don't know what to do, just do it. Or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and ask us. But I'm more than happy to help you weigh things up. But other than that, until next time, thank you very much for listening.